late in the afternoon, and best that if I was sitting where you are, I'd probably be falling asleep within 10 minutes. I've already had a few people tell me down the back, keep 10 minutes. I don't know if I could do that, but I'll cut out about 50 points. So, should be right now. But, if I see you drifting to sleep, look, this will be our little sign, alright? I'll go, is this working? So, if you hear that, come back from wherever you drifted to, alright? That'll be the key. So, how about we pray first? Father, we do need you for every part of life. Father, we need your word above all. Father, comfort brings. Father, we need the God of the word as well. I pray that as we spend this time considering your word, that your Spirit may be with us, illuminate us, touch our hearts, dear Father. That, Lord, you will enable us to live those lives that are pleasing to you and bring glory. Father, show that there is a God in this world that can be trusted. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, if you can remember back from yesterday, I started to look at that statement in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38, where it says, now the just shall live their life, or live by faith. And basically I just spent today looking at what that really meant. Many of us say that we live by faith, but when you look at your everyday life, the reality is you probably aren't living by faith the way that God would have you to live. And we saw that to live by faith simply means that you believe what God says and it affects how you live today. And so you have faith in what God has said and it affects your actions. It's not a fuzzy little feeling inside that, yes, I'm living by faith today. It's not some pie-in-the-sky thing that is unreachable for Christians, or it's only for those men of God that we read about of years gone by, but it is simply believing what God has said about a certain circumstance and the promises that He has made about those things, and then acting upon it. So it doesn't really matter if you're facing temptation to sin, or persecution, or a health problem, or financial problems, or marriage problems. If you're living by faith, you're going to find out what God has to say about that, find out the promises that He's made about those things, and then you're going to act accordingly. And basically, that's what we looked at last time. And in Hebrews, where this statement's made, the following chapter goes on to explain some people who actually live by faith, whose actions show that they believe what God has said. And today I want to look at one of the examples that we see here, and I want to look at one way we as believers should be acting, or one way that our life of faith should be seen if we are truly living by faith the way He wants us to. And I want to look at the man Abraham today. I will look at him tomorrow as well. I can remember when living in Sydney, attending Cornwall Park Bible Church, Pastor Wenham there preached a series, I don't know what he actually called it, I think Faithful Abraham or something like that, and he probably preached, I'm guessing around about 15 to 20 messages on Abraham. So there is certainly a lot that you can learn from this man of faith. He is certainly our father of faith. But in the book of Hebrews, we're only given two examples from his life that show us what it means to live by faith. And the first example is that we're given is when it refers to how Abraham leaves his home and he goes to a new land that the Lord had promised him. And this is what I want us to consider this afternoon. And so let's turn over to Genesis chapter 12, if we may, and just read this account. If you're feeling thirsty, by all means, you can come and get some. Is that working? We're in chapter 12, verses 1 to 5. Now the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I'll make of thee a great nation, and I'll bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I'll bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham stayed put and could not move. That's when it's talking about us, probably. Now Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they went. Now, turn over please to Hebrews chapter 11, and I'd just like to read the inspired words of this event in chapter 11, verses 8 and 9. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8, we read, By faith, due to his faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in a land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. And brethren, what I want us to notice here from the life of Abraham is Abraham trusted God for the unknowns. God had said to him in Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, I want you to leave your country, I want you to leave your kindred, I want you to leave your father's house, and I want you to go to a land that I will show you. Now straight away from that commandment, lots of unknowns probably flooded into the mind of Abraham. There were a lot of things he did not know. Now, Abraham didn't know actually where he was going. He didn't know what the land was going to be like. He didn't know what was... Is that working? I saw the eyes. I have a fan blowing my head. That one. It's good. It keeps taking me back to the beginning. You don't want to do that. Yeah, I got to focus. What did he do? Yes. What did he do? Yeah, he told him to leave his country, told him to leave his kindred, told him to leave his father's house, and straight away lots of unknowns came into his life. What was the travel going to be like? Is it going to be a long trip to this place, or is it going to be a short trip? What's going to happen along the trip? Is anyone going to attack me along the way? How am I going to provide for all these people as I go there? Is it going to be hills, or is it going to be flat? What's it going to be like when I actually get there? You see, there were lots of unknowns simply because God gave him this one commandment to go. But what he did know was that God told him to go, and so he obeyed. And so because he knew what God had told him, despite the fact that there were going to be lots of unknowns due to that,